3 flight crew members are in critical condition right now. A medical helicopter that had just taken off from the UC Davis Medical Center crashed on nearby Highway 50. Livecopter 3 is over that scene right now. This is near Stockton Boulevard.
Tonight we're learning the heroism that broke out minutes after the crash. Bystanders jumping in to help firefighters lift that chopper off of one of the victims. The entire flight crew is now in the hospital. And we're also getting this new video taken moments after the crash. You see that white plume of smoke there that appears to be the helicopter's fire suppression system. It activated right at impact and would save the passengers from any jet fuel that could spark. Thanks for joining us at 11. I'm Golston Dar.
And I'm Edie Lambert. Right now, all but one lane of eastbound Highway 50 out of downtown Sacramento is shut down. Here's what we know so far. A Reach Air Medical Services helicopter crashed in the eastbound lanes of Highway 50 near Stockton Boulevard just after 7 o'clock tonight. Although there was a lot of traffic in that area at the time, no one on the ground was hit. Sacramento City Fire tells us the 3 people on board were the pilot, a nurse, and a paramedic.
And we also know that all 3 are in critical condition right now, being treated at local hospitals. No patients were on board the helicopter at the time of the crash. And here's another image, and in it you can see firefighters on both sides of that down chopper tending to the injured flight crew members. We now know one of the crew members was actually pinned underneath the chopper wreckage. Sac Fire says a captain then enlisted the help of some bystanders right there on 50. They got together, lifted that chopper off the crew member, and in moments you're going to hear from one of those people who helped step in to help.
We have live team coverage tonight. KCRA 3's Andres Valle and Carolina Estrada are at the scene for us right now. We start our coverage with Andres, who is live on the freeway. Andres, I know you've been out there at the scene for hours. What have you been able to learn?
Yeah, Edie, Golston, we've learned quite a bit of information. We're currently on those eastbound lanes of Highway 50, but let me step out of frame here and show you the helicopter that's maybe even 15 yards away from where we're standing as of right now. We know this all happened right around 7 p.m. when that helicopter went down on those eastbound lanes of Highway 50. We understand that they did not they did not crash into any vehicles, but the people who were inside are 3 people, including a nurse, a paramedic, and a pilot, who are all in critical condition tonight. Right now, we have not seen any federal investigators here on scene, but we have seen basically a critical response team here taking photos, videos of the entire wreckage, because there is no word of if federal investigators will actually be on the scene here. I just finished talking to California Highway Patrol, who tell me that they're trying to reopen the highway as soon as possible, and they have also reopened the far left lane for traffic to finally move on those eastbound lanes. But like Golston mentioned earlier, there was a person that was pinned in that when the helicopter did crash, and here's what Sacramento Fire had to say about that.
There was one victim that was trapped underneath the helicopter. We only had one engine on scene at that point. Others were trying to make access to the scene. That one person that was trapped, the captain immediately sequestered the help of just civilians that were standing around. They were able to lift part of that helicopter out and get that victim out so we could get them loaded into the back of an ambulance and transported off scene.
And Sacramento Fire said it took them 20 minutes to begin aid to the people that were in that helicopter. But again, we know that they were in critical condition in area hospitals. They did not send them to UC Davis because they did not want to overwhelm UC Davis with 3 critical patients. Now, we were on the overpass when we broke into programming right around 7:30, and we spoke to a lot of bystanders who all live in the nearby neighborhoods of Elmhurst as well as East Sacramento, who are really just praying for the safety and the recovery of these people that were in that helicopter. And really, I'm praying for their recovery as well, because this is a very tragic incident. We also heard from, we saw a statement from the owners of this medical helicopter, who say that they're aware of the incident that happened here on Highway 50, and they're going to be releasing information as they learn it. And of course, as we learn more information, we'll bring that to you live on air. But as of right now, there is no timeline of when the highway will reopen. Like I mentioned earlier, the California Highway Patrol is trying to work its best, as well with the investigators here on scene, to get get what they need, take the photos that they need. They have a drone up in the air as well, just to kind of piece together what happened. And once they have all of those details, they will bring a tow truck in and begin removing the helicopter to reopen the lanes here. Live in Sacramento, Andres, KCRA for news.
Yeah, we certainly share that concern for the crew members on board. You know, Andres, in a car or truck accident, they start clearing that wreckage just as soon as possible. But of course, they can't do that with a helicopter crash. Have they said how much longer that stretch of Highway 50 will be closed?
No, they have not given us a complete timeline. We know that this has to be a multi-agency investigation. We're talking NTSB here, we're talking FAA, but as you know, there is a government shutdown, so that's why CHP is just really trying to make sure that this critical investigation team has what they need in order to provide that information back to those federal agencies to kind of piece together what's going on, because their main priority is, again, reopening the highway here.
Yeah, making sure they get the investigation right and collect any clues that may help them figure out exactly what happened tonight. Andres, thank you.
And we pulled the flight records for this Reach medical helicopter. It shows it left Redding at 5:05 tonight and landed at the Red Bluff Airport at 5:17. It then took off from Red Bluff at 5:50, landing at the UC Davis Medical Center 46 minutes later at 6:36. The Med Center, of course, a level 1 trauma center. They take critical patients from 33 counties. We then see the medical helicopter lift off from the Med Center at around 7:05 tonight, and then it quickly disappeared from the radar just above Highway 50. Firefighters got reports of that crash just 3 minutes later. Reach Air Medical Services just released a statement, as we heard from Andres. Here's the whole statement. We are aware of an accident involving a Reach helicopter on Highway 50 this evening and are keeping all those impacted in our thoughts and prayers. We are in the process of determining the details of this situation, as well as the condition of the Reach crew involved.
And then take a look at this exclusive video we got from Live Copter 3 over this scene. This is just a handful of some of the cars stuck in the backup by the hundreds. They were forced to drive in the opposite direction to get off of the freeway because the freeway, again, was completely blocked off. They were driving off of the on-ramp there. That's Stockton Boulevard you're looking at.
So we mentioned acts of heroism tonight. Take a look at this video just into our newsroom. You can see those bystanders working to lift that helicopter off of one of the victims. Our team coverage continues now with KCRA 3's Carolina Estrada. She's live for us along Highway 50.
It is really something to see there, Carolina. And you had a chance to speak with witnesses and some of those bystanders who they jumped in to help, and they had no problem helping.
No, Golston, Edie, they actually told us and described the moments right when they saw that helicopter coming towards them. They say it was terrifying. Then they were in disbelief when they saw it crash in the middle of Highway 50. And then they didn't doubt to jump in and help when it was needed. We'll hear from them in just a second. But first, I want to show you out here the scene that we have from this vantage point. We have seen the scene change a little bit, but that helicopter is still here in the middle of Highway 50. You might be able to see some of that debris and also that medical equipment that's surrounding it. So we have seen at least 15 investigators, officers taking pictures. They were scanning the scene. We saw them just move the lights to the other side of the helicopter. So it seems like they're focusing their investigation now on the other side. Earlier today, they were on this side. We can now see traffic starting to flow. We've seen Highway Patrol officers guiding these people. You can see them driving slowly there on the side of this crime scene. So that is actually because they opened the barriers from the Fix 50 project, and they're able to let those vehicles through. And you can imagine the amount of people that were at a stop here when this crash happened. There was actually another incident that created a backup. We spoke to a witness who was with his wife when they saw that helicopter coming straight at them. Take a listen.
It was violently shaking. The helicopter itself, the landing gear underneath the helicopter itself was shaking, like rattling in the air. So I knew something was off. As it was approaching very low, I was screaming to my wife. I go, this thing's coming down. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. Sure enough, it hit Highway 50. And after that, we saw lots of smoke. It took quite a while for that engine to like wind down or eventually just shut off. But in those 2 to 3 minutes, there was a lot of smoke that was entering Highway 50.
And that plume of smoke is the one that we saw in pictures and videos. But I want to bring you back out here live quickly because we're just seeing that tow truck arriving here on scene as we're live. It just parked here. We imagine they're about to remove this helicopter. There's a second tow truck that I can see from this vantage point here. Crews are about to get off and they're about to start removing this from the middle of Highway 50. This is just happening as we're here live. We're seeing the officers now surrounding it. They're trying to figure out exactly how they're gonna do this. But while we see what they're gonna do in the next couple of minutes, I want you to take a listen from this bystander who says she was in her car, stopped here in the middle of Highway 50 when, after that smoke cleared, they saw that first responders needed help getting someone who was pinned in this helicopter out. Just take a listen to her testimony.
It just plummeted out of the sky and it hit hard, obviously, because it was falling. And then just instantaneous black smoke everywhere, just engulfed the whole thing. As soon as I saw that everybody was moving, trying to push the helicopter out to help the first responders get to the passenger, I just ran over and got in the line of people and was just help pushing it as much as I could. And then we held it for several minutes so the first responder could get the person out.
And, you know, she's still trying to process everything that happened. I asked her, you know, what was going through your mind when you see that? She said the only thing that was going through my mind was to help. But you can imagine how heavy this helicopter is since they have at least 2 tow trucks here on scene. And just imagining that group of 15 people lifting that helicopter just to help someone is really just incredible to hear. We now know that 3 people are in critical condition. And one of those was the one that they helped save. And just back out here live, we can start seeing those plastic bags that are coming out. They're going to start picking up all of that debris, some of it that medical equipment that we can imagine was on this helicopter. We saw a lot of papers. We can see there's some crews starting to put them in those white trash bags here. It'll probably take a while for them to be able to remove all of this. We see that door from the helicopter closer to where we're standing. So removal efforts of this helicopter about to start here. We don't know how long that's going to take, but they are letting traffic through here right now. But after all, you know, there's still a lot of questions, Edie, Golson, about what exactly led up to this helicopter crashing here on scene. But what we really take away as well is just the heroism of those 15 people that just decided amidst the chaos to get off and help and, you know, get that person out. And they tell me that really what all they're hoping for tonight is that all 3 of the people that were inside of that helicopter when it crashed make it. Live in Sacramento, Carolina Estrada, KCRA 3 News.
Yeah, our thoughts are with those 3 people, but we're also just so happy to know that people were willing to jump in and do whatever they could to help them out in their hour of need there. So we've gotten a look there at how the cleanup is going. We saw the people picking up some of the debris, a lot of medical debris and just debris from the helicopter. And tell us a little bit about what traffic's looking like now.
Yeah, I can actually show you live what that traffic is looking like. Let's pan over to Highway 50. So you can probably see the helicopter, the crime scene, and then right next to it, you're going to see some vehicles driving by. There goes some SUVs. So they have now, it was maybe about 20, 30 minutes ago that they reopened traffic. We actually saw the first vehicles going through. And how we've seen this is happening is we'll see a CHP officer in a motorcycle kind of leading everyone into Highway 50, showing them where they should go. He moves to the side and then everyone continues to drive down here on Highway 50. For the people that are from this area, we know the Fix 50 project that usually, you know, causes a lot of headache and people deal with all of that traffic. Well, today it has been very helpful because they were able to remove the white barriers that you see there, and kind of over on this side, we'll be able to see where the CHP officer is parked. They removed those barriers, and that's where they've been able to let people drive through. They've put cones to kind of shift the lanes. That way they can still keep that traffic flowing. But of course, you know, the investigation is still ongoing. It will still be ongoing for the next couple of hours as this cleanup continues, but vehicles are allowed to go through. For now, live in Sacramento, Carolina Estrada, KCRA 3 News. Back to you guys.
Carolina, thank you. Yeah, clearing some debris and keeping others, I'm sure, as evidence.
Yes, and we have a little bit more on this coverage tonight. We have an idea why that helicopter, which took off, did not explode upon impact. According to Reach, the chopper in question here, manufactured in 2021, has what's called a crash-resistant fuel system on board. Basically, think of a fire extinguisher system that keeps the fuel from exploding, something the NTSB had recommended for Airbus choppers like this one after 2 crashes in 2015 where people survived the crash but died of burn injuries because of the jet fuel exploding. And video we reviewed from right after tonight's crash shows what appears to be a fire suppression system going off.
And just a note that we always get permission for every piece of video that we show, so we haven't been able to show and broadcast everything that we've been able to review. Back out to Live Copter 3 right now. Just an interesting operation at this point. It looks like they may be using a mobile crane out there to pick up the fuselage and then load that onto a flatbed.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. You can see a tow truck there that's got the typical tow apparatus. It's like a crane basically, and they'll probably use that to maneuver the vehicle so they can get it on top of a flatbed. And you can also see another truck there with a trailer that they're using to load up debris from the crash site. So there's quite a bit of cleanup to do, and then just to make sure the roadway is safe, and then they'll have to slowly, incrementally open up the highway there again.
KCRA 3 will stay on top of this through the night and, of course, through the morning hours. Our team will bring you any ongoing traffic impacts starting at 4 a.m. You can also follow all of the breaking news updates on our KCRA app and on KCRA.com.